Hello and welcome to Talk and Beyond with Priyanka Ghai. As I invite my guest today, who is always surrounded with books. He's not a nerd, nor an author, but gives a platform to many wanting to write and become an author. A Josephite whose corporate stint with Goldman Sachs was short because his dreams for Sapna Book House were reaching the skies. He's an alumni of ISB Bootcamp, Hyderabad, for being an exceptional CEO and is now dedicated to make this legendary bookstore as a one-stop solution to fun, knowledge, and inspiration. Welcoming Nijesh Shah to the show. Hi, Nijesh. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Hi Priyanka, thank you for having me at your show. It's a wonderful Saturday, so I'm at home right now, taking the weekend off. So yeah, looking forward.
Superb. Let's quickly dive into our question straight away. This is definitely the oldest and the most fondest bookstore across the country. I'm sure carrying this lineage is a moment of pride. Tell us what ideated this magnificent world of books in the form that resonates with every generation. I'm sure there's a lot of grandpa stories that brings a lot of nostalgia of the old Bangalore charm. Help us experience that charm again.
Well, to tell you honestly, Sapna Book House, like you rightly said, it's something that many generations have seen, not only from the family point of view, but also from the customer point of view. And often we hear many customers talking to us that they were shopping when they were kids, and now they're coming back to the store with their own kids. So it gives us a sense of pride that we've been able to survive and we've been able to serve customers with the most important thing for growth, which is education, books, and knowledge. In terms of how it all started, to tell you, it was my grandfather. It's a family-run business. My grandfather started the business in 1967, and the story is very hard to believe because he was a coolie in the railway station in Mumbai, Dadar, and since from that to what we are today, I think it shows that resilience and hard work is something which never goes unnoticed, and that's what has proved and been the more or less the growth story for Sapna. So in 1967 is when he moved in from Mumbai to Chennai, and thereafter he worked in a bookstore as a peon. The bookstore named was Lilliput Pocketbook Distribution Company, and from there he was promoted as a general manager at their new branch in Bangalore, and he came in with my grandmom in 1967 to Bangalore. And I think from then on the entire journey starts because grandmom always wanted him to do a business and stop being in a job profile. And because he was part of the book trade, because he was in Mumbai working for a bookstore, and then he moved to Chennai working for the same bookstore again. And when he was shifted to Bangalore, he decided to take the plunge and do something of his own in the same industry where he had learned. That's when he started a small bookstore. It's called the Pawn Shop, which is in Medistic in Bangalore. It's a 10 by 10 square feet small shop, which is still there, and it has been given out free of cost to a small vendor who's actually selling pan there today, because the emotions are so well connected. And since that small 10 by 10 square feet of store to having a 3.5 lakh square feet of customer retail space today, he has put in a lot of hard work. So then my father joined in when he was studying, and then his two younger brothers joined in too. So it was the five of them, my grandparents and their three sons, who took off in this business. And in fact, the first 25 years was very hard because we had financial instability. So the growth for Sapna from one store to the second store took 25 years. Thereafter, the store started to grow because we, got the hang of how to go about being momentous in this trade. We also started with publication, which gave us a good boost to the overall customer satisfaction, because not only were we selling books at the retail store, but we were also publishing, which gave us a more in-depth understanding of the trade. So yeah, that's how the story goes. A man who moved in from Mumbai, working in as a coolie in the railway station, to Chennai, and from Chennai to Bangalore, and yeah, and that's how Sapna started in 1967, and we are going quite strong in today's time.
Wow. It proves the sheer power of resilience and persistence, where if you are focused, if you know what you want to do, you will get there, right? Wow. Reading has been one of the best known habits. The only side effects of reading is that it is addictive. It keeps you hungry forever, and hence the learning never stops. Amazon and Flipkart was an online bookstore before they became a behemoth it is today. How has Sapna Book House managed to weather this storm and still stay relevant?
Well, honestly, this question has been asked to us many times, because the most relevant discussion in today's millennial world is how do you sustain despite the shopping experience moving from offline to online, and so on and so forth. To be honest with you, we have discussed this as a strategy also, and we've discussed this as a topic in the boardroom, and we've begun to understand that what is chaos for the outside world is actually an opportunity for us, because what this means is, if there are more people who are getting access to more books through different mediums and channels, that means that there is more readership happening, which in itself is a very good thing for the entire industry. Literacy rates are in fact going up more than ever, and it's continuing to rise, so which is a very good thing for the industry. What we also believe is that there will be two sets of audience always. There will be an offline a set of customers, and there will be an online set of customers, and there will be a portion who are a mix of two. You cannot replace a community experience in the virtual world, and that's been an understanding, and that's been an experience for us, because we've been seeing customers flock in, despite the surge of online and the online world. Now, having said that, we would be foolish in not accepting that the online industry is growing, and we would be arrogant if we do not address to that as an industry. So what we did is we also have our own online store, sapnaonline.com, and we are also part of the marketplace of Amazon and Flipkart as a platinum seller there. So what happens is, for us, is we are not taking competition as competition, because the minute we start thinking about them being competitors to us, and things would get really chaotic in our minds. But the moment we start thinking about competition as a complementary factor or force in this book industry, we begin to realize that there is a lot of opportunity inside of our brand, and inside of our stores, as well as outside where the customers are. So we have retail as an important wing, wherein we have 20 stores, 20 mega stores across southern part of India. We also have sapnaonline.com, which is serving pan-India customers. We are doing about 2,500 orders a day there. And we also have a marketplace seller module across the marketplaces of Amazon and Flipkart. So this gives us an opportunity to serve the customers where they are, rather than crib about the fact that the industry is shifting. Like I said before, we are so happy that there are a lot of opportunities for customers to read, because what this means is readership is growing, which is a positive sign for this book industry.
That's very well put. And I think for you, competition is not competition, but it's more collaboration. And it's if it's working in your favor, I think this is the best industry to be in. Wow. Okay, we would love to see some positive sides of Corona as well. So tell us, how has the reading experience or reading trend been during this pandemic, and what genre do you see that people are really intrigued towards?
Well, that's a good question, because the pandemic was not expected by any industry, let alone our industry. But what is good is if the management across industries, across companies try to adapt to different means of consumer acquisition during this pandemic, then you're still set to survive. But if you sit back and be quiet and just let this be part of the storm, then you're going to be eaten up. So yes, pandemic did come as a surprise, especially when the lockdown took place, because we have real estate space across Karnataka and Tamil Nadu in terms of our stores. So all of those stores were not accessible to the customers. So the first week, it was really hard for us to really understand what to be doing next. But what we did is we accelerated the e-commerce supply chain, where we started to accept the orders with the promise of delivering once the lockdown opens up. So we got a lot of customers who were coming into the retail outlet to come onto our own platform online. And we have in fact, during the lockdown, one of the strategies was to launch our new apps and a new website to give a more integrated experience to the Sapna customers. So, and that's what we also did, and we got a very good response from our customers, and we started to accept a lot of orders. And as soon as the logistics and supply chain opened up, we started to do the shipments. So this way, we tried to keep customers very close with us. We sent out newsletters, we sent out SMSs, we sent out emailers for them to know that we are still there for you, and this is a catalog which you can browse from home, and you could place an order and get it delivered as soon as the lockdown opens. In terms of the genre, if you ask me what really moved in this pandemic, you'll be surprised to know that reading, in fact, surged. That's a good positive sign in this pandemic, because when people were at home, right, they had two options. One is to be in front of any electronic device to kill time, which would be the OTT of Netflix, Prime, and Hotstar, and so on and so forth, or it would be the television. But families with kids, they realize quite early that for their children, it's not really good to be in front of the system, especially when there is so much time across so many days. And that's when they started to, do a lot of online shopping for books for their kids. So in anticipation that once the lockdown opens, the books would just fly in, because though the lockdown was to open soon, the schools are still closed. So a lot of children books flew off the shelf, and we were really happy with the response and the decision, in fact, that many parents across the country have taken in adapting to children education and reading at their homes. So I think children books is the number one genre for us in this pandemic. Thereafter, we did really well in the fiction category. And one interesting observation is that in the fiction category, we did really well in the Kannada regional catalog. What happens is, though there is an ocean of English novels available, but the pulse of an Indian consumer is being local, and that's what our Prime Minister also mentioned. Be vocal for local, and the regional content that people started to read was amazing. I mean, we ourselves as publishers have published books of some of the top Kannada authors, from Shivram Karanth to Kuvempu to Nisar Ahmad to Sudha Murthy. And all these books did really well in this entire pandemic, and it is continuing to do well, because the schools are still closed, right? There is online classes happening, but that's about for 2 hours or 4 hours, and then what next? Parents still fear sending their children out to the open field to play. So I think the books as industry and reading, like you rightly said, has been a positive sign in this pandemic, which is really amazing. And we are happy that the impact has turned for us in a positive way.
There's always a positive side to any calamity that we see. It's giving us the time to nurture ourselves, to upskill ourselves, and what better way than books to actually do that? Lovely. Okay. What are the different opportunities do you see for someone who is an occasional reader but is trying to don various hats to figure out what his calling is? Do you think books can answer that bit for him?
Uh, I believe 100% that books play a very important role in the thinking pattern of people, uh, from exploring who they are, from exploring what opportunities lie in front of them, from understanding emotions of other people around. And, reading a book, in fact, pulls you out of the pandemic, though you're locked down, but the imagination lets you travel the world. And that's something which is very important for us to understand, that reading is not just about taking a book and finishing the pages, but the after effects of a good reader stays with him for a long time. It helps in the overall development, from an intellect point of view, from an emotional point of view, from a human behavior point of view, from an acceptance point of view. So all of these play a very important role in the reading, if you read well. Um, I believe that reading should happen across different genres. A lot of people tend to, especially the young adults, so the teenagers or the millennials, we call them today. They stick to a lot of romance, because they experience a lot of emotions around their life. But the minute they move into more of from romance to strategy and business investment, or maybe self-help, or maybe moving into a thriller or a suspense, the understanding of how people are in this world, what type of things go around in the mindsets of different individuals. Because at the end of the day, an author's work is nothing but his experience, in his life, maybe something that has happened in reality, or maybe an experience in his mind. So I think reading helps you understand a lot of these angles, which helps in the holistic development of an individual. And I mean, you look at most of the successful entrepreneurs, or business owners, or even successful moms and successful sports personalities. You'll find one thing in common. They always mention about reading good books. The pace of reading may differ. Maybe a Warren Buffett or Bill Gates would read 150 books a year, and maybe someone like Virat Kohli would read 10 books a year, but still they read, which is very important for us to make note of here.
Yeah. And I think it's very evident when a person is well read because they have a different perception to things, reacting to things, and they are able to actually collate and articulate things better. And I think
You're right.
you rightly said that the holistic development is because you've read well, you've been out in the industry, you know what it takes to be there, and I think that's very important. Thank you, Nijesh, for pointing that out. We have one more segment left for you, which is called the rapid fire round. This is going to
Okay.
be very, very simple.
Will I get a hamper?
We'll see if you do well there. Okay. Your first question. Who is your favorite author of all times?
I have two authors. One is Khalid Hosseini. I've been runner, or his The Thousand Splendid Suns has been is very impactful in my life. And then thereafter, I love the writing of Jeffrey Archer. Cain and Abel has been an all-time favorite. I would have read it more than 3 times. So yeah, these two at the moment are my two favorite authors, or I would say evergreen authors. I can pick up their books any time of the age, and I can start reading it.
And I think you accomplished your dream of having a chat with Jeffrey Archer very, very recently when you did that Sapna
You're
online live
right.
session. It was fabulous. I
You're
was
right. It was
part of
it.
it. And
Oh
I,
wow. Okay. It was something very very exceptional, because we never thought we would get Jeffrey Archer come on board and interact with us and our set of readers. So we run this show called a Sapna Rise, wherein we connect authors with readers, and we invited Sir Jeffrey Archer to it, and he gladly accepted. And I mean, you would know, since you were part of it, how good he was and how experienced he is in life. Um,
He's
was
a
an amazing
legend. I mean,
session
I
for
don't
us.
think we have words for him. Okay, moving on to a second question. The first book that you read and when was it?
The first book I read was Sydney Sheldon, Tell Me Your Dreams. And that was, I think, when I was the first complete book, I would say. I think I was in my ninth grade.
Okay, a collaboration that has made this journey more memorable.
Um, I think I'll answer this in two ways, and I'm not being diplomatic. The first way is I think collaborating as a youngster in this family, as a third generation individual who's been part of this legacy. I think the collaboration between my father, between my uncles, and between my grandfather has been a lovely experience because. Not only did they give me the freedom to explore my strengths, but also gave me the platform to learn, make mistakes, and grow from there. And it happens every day. So I'm very grateful for this collaboration. The very fact that there's space given for all of us to interact freely gives a great sense of how we can develop, or how I can develop as a person. So I think one way is, if I can put it in this way, that the collaboration between my family in this business journey has been very rewarding. And from a business point of view, so we are working very closely with Ghana government in terms of, so Ghana it comes in the western part of Africa, and we have a office set up there in this place called Tema, which is about 60 kilometers from Accra, which is the capital city of Ghana. uh, there is a lack of education opportunity, and there is a lot of um, uh, debt of the right approach in terms of what has to be done. So we've been able to collaborate with them, give our experience in terms of what curriculum should be there, how to build a primary kid versus a secondary kid, and how to grow about in the education system of the western part of Ghana. So I think that's been a very good experience. We travel there close to about 3 times a year to understand and work with them more closely. So yeah.
Wow. Now, Sapna Book House is not just Indian, it's global brand. And we shall see. And we are all rooted for you. You should be reaching a lot of other places where there is a lack of access to content and education. This is a phenomenal effort. I think I need to really congratulate you, because I think this was your move where you started working towards growing this journey into something much bigger, something more meaningful. And this is the fruit for it. That's great. Okay, a store that is your favorite and why?
The Gandhinagar store is my favorite because my granddad comes there every day, and just seeing him at his age of 82, sit on his chair and talk to employees. Probably he would come down and talk to a few customers. I think every store is special in its own way, but the fact that I'm able to be with my granddad today, and also look at him talk to customers and our staff, is a different experience, exceptional, I would say. So yeah, so that way, Gandhinagar as a store has been my favorite, because there's a lot of memories I can think of in this
Yeah,
store.
so I mean, I think the firsts are always special. So it usually is the first which is everybody's favorite. Okay,
Yeah, you're right.
two other bookstores that you love going to other than Sapna Book House.
Interesting question. There's a bookstore in London, Cash and Carry,
Okay.
Cash and Carry bookstore. The ground floor of the bookstore has all the books and stuff, and the floor above has a collaborative effort where anybody walking in can paint, can sing, can use pens and paper, which is available free of cost for calligraphy, and basically make it like a collaborative interaction between customers. So I feel that it's a lovely store, and those who are in London should surely visit that store. And so I think, yeah, I think most of the bookstores in London are beautiful, I would say.
Nothing in India?
In India, my favorite bookstore is Sapna. I'm not being a cliche, but yeah, I think uh, I've seen the collection, and again, I'm not appreciating us, but I've seen the collection of Sapna when we compare it with the other bookstores, and I see there's a lot of difference in the way we've been able to curate the best of the publishers, the best of authors, and have them put up in the store. So I think I'll stick by this.
Okay, so let me put it this way. The bookstore is not just for its books and the collection, it's also for its experience that it offers, right? Now it has become more of those sorts, where Sapna Book House is also trying to give us an experience of fun, knowledge, inspiration, and overall journey that a book reader would go through of any generation.
Any prominent bookstore or chain of bookstores in the UK and the US, if one has to go to, would see the difference of experience in terms of how they take in customers.
But I think the difference was also tried and tested by Sapna Book House when they opened that small cafe in the bookstore for people to relax and read there, so that you don't really feel the hurry to get out of it because you do not have the space to read there. So I think that was a good effort as well, and I'm sure that was headed by your wife, and it
No,
had
that's a very interesting observation that you've made here. So we have a small cafe in our Jayanagar bookstore. The cafe is called Siachi Cafe, and the fact why we opened the cafe was to rightly, as you pointed out, was to give that relaxing experience where you pick up a book, you have a coffee in hand, and you can explore yourself in the book while drinking that coffee in the cafe. And there's Wi-Fi also, so a lot of students who come into their projects there, not necessarily come in only to purchase a book, but to use the space for any of their projects. And then because they're surrounded with a lot of books, they feel more engaged in what they do. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you mentioned that this has been the um, uh, a different experience approach that Sapna has been trying to take. And hopefully, we opened the cafe only last year in October, and since Jan we've been hit by the pandemic. But hopefully, once the pandemic is done with, and we look to open this cafe experience across multiple stores that we have.
super.
It is started by my wife. Yeah,
Yes, please do mention. I
it's
think she
actually a
would love to try it.
collaboration with my. It is a collaboration of my uncle and my wife, who are heading the overall experience stores, experience concepts in Sapna, cafe being one of them.
Fabulous. Okay, moving on to my next question. A book that you love or you would suggest to every entrepreneur for reading.
Okay, I think Shoe Dog is an amazing book to be read. Shoe Dog is the story of Nike. It's a brilliant book.
Okay, your favorite pastime other than reading books? What do you do when you're kicking back?
So I'm I love cricket. Uh, I'm very passionate about the game. I've played cricket professionally earlier, and I continue to play. So I love watching cricket. So I would sit and watch a game.
Nice. Okay. Paperback or Kindle? Your preference in reading?
Hands down paperback, because the very feel of a book in your hand, the smell of the turning pages, the the small little bookmark by twisting the page that you can do, the fact that you can keep the book on your lap and on your chest and sleep. And I think the overall imagination of book reading is so beautiful when you have a book in hand than any other electronic format of reading. And I'll stick by this. Yeah,
I
that
agree too.
paperback, hands down, gives uh, a more emotional feeling of reading a book.
Absolutely love how you actually made me picture about the bookmark that we do, and the turning of the pages, the smell of the book, in fact. This is phenomenal. Thank you, Nijesh. I think this was a great interview. I would love to have a few parting words before we end this.
First of all, thank you for having me here. I think the entire approach that you're doing in getting people onto your platform and helping them share their story, thereby inspiring others outside, I think is phenomenal, and kudos to you. So thank you once again. It was lovely to share my experience, my small little experience of Sapna, and the part that we all are playing in building the society and the community. So we're very happy to be doing so, and we'll continue doing what we do best in the best way possible. And thanks once again for all the questions. And it was really fun. In fact, didn't expect the rapid fire ones, but yeah, I think it was nice.
Thank you, Nijesh. Thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to more and more live sessions with the Sapna Book House and the different authors that you present to us to give a feel of what they go through when they are writing the book and what they expect the users to actually experience with their books. Thank you so much for your time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this piece with Nijesh Shah, the owner of Sapna Book House, and how books help you in the holistic development of yourself. Make sure you turn into a book reader now if you haven't yet. And do subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, take care. Bye bye.